The film begins with a reflection on the life of the main character, named Alex Jacobs, looking out over the city from a high hill. He returns home and in a moment notices a dead copy of himself. Nearby on the floor is an envelope with "Look Me Up" written on it and a thumb drive inside. On the computer, the hero watches a video of himself trying to explain his own existence. His story begins with the fact that early in the morning, he visits Rebecca Stillman, employee of a scientific company, and offers Alex a job. She refuses to give details of the specialty until the guy signs a non-disclosure contract. Rebecca offers a small sum for signing the contract and Alex agrees. Their company wants to hire a man to decipher alien codes and coded messages, as he is one of the best coders of the generation. Due to a leak of information, in the process of the algorithm member created by Alex and recognized by many experts, the man's company was ruined. He cannot take all the responsibility and refuses to take the job. Rebecca tells him that a satellite has appeared in their orbit that they did not launch. Upon returning it to Earth, they find a coded message they assume was sent from the future. The company promises to provide Alex with a closed, private lab with all the necessary equipment to investigate. Stillman assures the boy of the safety of the research, and as a precaution will allow Alex to be sedated and transferred. Rebecca reminds the guy of his debt, his life in his parents' house, and his terrible reputation for leaking data. The girl sends a large amount of money to the guy's account for signing a non-disclosure agreement and promises that after signing a contract and working with their company, Alex will get a lot more money. The guy agrees and signs the cooperation contract. Alex packs his things and is about to leave the house. Within moments, an employee of the company puts him to sleep by injecting him with a drug. The guy wakes up in his room, and fully awake, Rebecca escorts him to the lab. In the middle of the staff lab, stands a glass prism inside which is a space satellite with a key inside. Alex is shocked at the impending work on the alien code. The guy starts working with the codes, running programs to read them into the computers. After 5 weeks of working indoors, Alex refuses Rebecca's request for a session with a psychologist or to go outside to talk to people. He begins to see other people, and every day is the same. Alex does not notice time and the days that pass. He develops claustrophobia and a complete rejection of sociality. The guy works day and night, almost without resting. One night, he notices some coder before him, counting the days gone by in the lab on the rim of the bed. Alex reads the information left by the past specialist and gets the idea to write an app, to read the alien code. The next day, Alex carries out his intended work on the code and learns that humanity is on the brink of a third world war. The alien message is written in Navajo language, the local dialect of the future, and the downed satellite turns out to be the first defense of the future. Rebecca promises to transfer the rest of her fee in a few days, and seconds later the staff puts Alex to sleep. He wakes up in the middle of the night in his home feeling a terrible headache and vomiting. Alex thinks it's the effects of a sedative and wakes up a few days later. He finds strange equipment standing in the kitchen, but his thoughts are dispelled by the doorbell. There are men in business suits standing on the doorstep, eager to ask some questions. They look very strange, but are interested in Alex's calls for work. The men assure him that these questions do not violate the non-disclosure agreement and learn that the work was done solely for the money. They inform Alex that what was written in the message may have harmed the integrity and security of the world. The men begin to affect Alex's emotional background and headaches and he asks them to leave the house. After a moment, Alex regains consciousness and continues to work on deciphering the code. Rebecca informs the boy that he is not allowed to leave the message in his memory. Late at night, Alex studies computer technology, but the power goes out and inexplicable phenomena begin to occur in the house. The street becomes suspiciously empty, but on the other side of the road a huge ghost distorts. Alex tries not to panic and reassure himself of what is happening, but after another appearance of a strange silhouette, a man hides in a room. Alex Jacobs hears strange noises from the balcony and reaches out his hand toward the ghost. At this point, the man's sleepy nightmare ends. In the morning, Alex is visited by a company employee along with Rebecca. The guy tells the employee about the double expansion of the world and the size difference in our galaxy. Alex delivers information to Rebecca about the future, which is reflected in the present or past moments. He worries about finding alien beings in our dimension at the same time as other galaxies and observing, in terms of studying humanity. Alex asks the girl to stop the creation of the apparatus, for it could damage life in our generation. Rebecca does not accept these words in reality, as she knows about the man's cancerous tumor, which quickly develops and can be the cause of hallucinations. Alex is in the present, burying himself from the future on a hill outside the city and returning to hear the story next. No one on the staff gives a damn about Alex's words. He decides to investigate the case, the company's old coder. Arriving at a girl named Beth's house, he explains that he lived in the same room and saw the name scratched on the rim of the bed. Jacobs asks for his time and to prove to humanity that they are in danger, because no one believes his research. Alex admits that because of the tumor, he has half a year to live and needs to save the next generation of humanity. In turn, the girl says that she, too, is sick and will be without a leg in a few weeks and will die in 2 months. They try to talk about working together on the message, and dealing with the origins of the weapon. Beth confesses that she has become antisocial since working in the lab and has stopped making any contact other than the doctors and Decipherman, the man who probably works for the company. He contacts her for a month when the computer screen goes out. The guys talk about quantum physics and scientific facts. The girl rapidly gets worse and Alex helps her into bed. After which, she starts talking strange information about writing codes and the unreality of what's going on. The man goes down to the lower floor of the house and observes strange situations of the girl's life connected with the military. After a while, Beth's computer receives a message from the Decipherman. Alex talks to the Decipherman on behalf of the girl, but the person he talks to realizes that someone else is writing and cuts off communication. The next morning, Alex tells the girl that the puzzles sent by the Decipherman are a message. The girl is angry at the guy for communicating with her interlocutor. Jacobs apologizes, and convinces Beth that her work is worth more. The girl tells him that her mind was also tormented by hallucinations in the lab. She talks about the existence of quantum memory and intergalactic communication. Beings in from other galaxies and dimensions can travel at light-bearing speeds, and stayed indefinitely. Beth believes that alien civilizations transmit sign information to us in order to halt the destruction of humanity and the world's problems. While she was hallucinating, she was catching photons and deciphering alien messages. She believed that the dead souls were saying goodbye to her and did not perceive reality. Alex claims that the creatures are not hallucinations, because they saw the same thing. Beth asks the man to leave, and says goodbye. Upon returning home, Rebecca is waiting for Jacobs with a serious conversation. The girl insists not to visit or discuss anything with Beth, as it is forbidden and violates international security rules. She promises to help the man if he needs anything and leaves. Alex's entire house is cleared of papers with recorded messages and codes. Beth begins to hallucinate again. The bright light from the window abruptly turns into a bloody spectacle. Alex does not perceive real events and falls into a prolonged depression. The guy doesn't understand where to go next and whether it's worth it to continue living in such conditions. He feels like an animal locked in a glass box being watched. At this point, Alex's computer receives a message from the Decipherman. The guy decides to find out more about the man he's communicating with, and is told that Beth is coming to see him soon. Alex tells the girl that Rebecca has taken all the papers and left him with no information. He reports the possibility that the Decipherman wants to stop the development of the machine. In turn, Beth adds that Decipherman sent her the guy's address and blueprints. The guys sit up late into the night solving algorithms to get the blueprints for the apparatus. They admit that they do not feel the length of time and need to hurry in order to solve this problem. The guys began to create a virus that, with the help of Decipherman on a certain day, infect the computers of other users. They tried to fix what was going on wrong. They realized that they were both dying, but they tried to change the rest of their lives. Creating codes and deciphering algorithms didn't last long. One morning, a terrified Rebecca bursts into their house, claiming that the creators of the machine are watching them. She gives Decipherman's address and asks him to wait it out. Rebecca confesses that she sees the same thing they do, for she was also irradiated in the lab. But neither of them can prove it, for the facts only suggest the presence of hallucinations. The girl asks them to leave town immediately and take all her documents, so as not to be endangered. Rebecca gives visual rules in the life of the guys, so that they do not leave traces and do not succumb to surveillance. Alex and Beth leave through the backyard, and Rebecca is put to sleep and taken away in a black bag. The machine makers turn on all the gas in the house, triggering an explosion. The boys stop on a dark evening, outside Decipherman's cabin in the woods. He tells them that he is one of the first scientists and creators of the laboratory. Decipherman explains that the satellite with the message is not the first find in the company's memory. Alex gives his version that what is happening now can also be completed, but his version is not correct. Decipherman tells us that the situation with the first satellite was similar, but not at all. The company found a satellite with messages and blueprints of another project, the purpose of which was to confine itself to our dimension, since alien beings are interdimensional unification. But Decipherman's version didn't like the commission, and they locked him up and took away his degree as a scientific candidate. They declared that the man was schizophrenic, and could not give out the correct version. At the time, Decipherman developed a small tumor, which does not lead to death, but helps him see these creatures. He concludes that the aliens cannot be on the same linear plane of time as humanity, so he could not scientifically prove his research. Decipherman is convinced that alien beings can perceive reality differently, as they are considered to be more evolved. He believes that the second device is made in order to get into our dimension. Decipherman conducted research that showed that with the second apparatus, aliens can communicate with humanity against an arm's length background. The man calls what is happening insanity, and tries to put the rules of existence in real life. But the existence of alien civilizations remains only a theory. Decipherman convinces the boys that one of the alien beings is standing in his yard, but Alex and Beth see none. Decipherman believes that the creatures can't know our language, and are always changing code terms. This proves that the three coders decipher the message differently, but the result is the same. Decipherman shows Meat's server on old blueprints. Decipherman's hut is defeated by the makers of the machine, so the guys are forced to pick up the blueprints and move on. They stash the apparatus parts in their backpacks and belongings and set off in search of hidden apparatus production. The guys sneak into the production facility and disperse in search of the right department. The company is in total chaos and unexplained things happen. Time is not linear with the present, so the people in production have no gravity and the ability to walk irrevocably. Alex and Beth carry out their missions at the production facility, but things don't turn out as easy as planned. Alex fails to get out and finds himself in an intertemporal portal, where he is interrogated by an alien mind. He is interested in linear time intervals. After talking to the creature, Jacobs returns to real life and records a video message for the next Alex. The story ends with the satellite being deciphered and the apparatus having long since been created. Alex gives advice for himself of the present to go to Beth and take care of her. He asks her to forget the message and get on with her life.